Yes, welcome to the show. The big shiny background.
That's
All
nice.
right. It's fancy.
It is fancy.
Like Applebee's. That's where we went to dinner on Saturday night. My wife and I were fancy like Applebee's and buying a pre-lit Christmas tree.
Oh my God.
We're still not sure if we like it, but it's in the living room. Like, we're still looking at it.
Yeah, we have a pre-lit one now too.
It's got 2,000 lights.
Nice.
We're not sure if it's enough. Pam puts a lot of lights on her tree.
Yeah.
It's brings in airplanes.
Oh my gosh.
This one has 2,000 lights. We're not sure if it has enough. We're not kidding. So we'll see. But it is up there. It's not decorated. We're just looking at it. We're just deciding.
It's in temporary phase.
Got
it's like a holding pattern.
Yes.
Yes, we're. I think we are going to keep it though. We've said good things about it, so I think it will stay. But we're not decorating. Obviously, we wouldn't decorate till after Thanksgiving. But
there you go.
What?
Get back down. Yeah, because we have the family over. We have a ton of people over for Thanksgiving. We just don't have room really for a tree.
Gotcha.
Then. Okay, let's do questions. You guys have questions? We have answers. Put them in the chat. We need them. We need questions.
We may have answers. Don't make promises.
Yeah, don't make promises we can't keep.
We will try. All right, here we go. Episode 1997.
Wow.
By the way, episode 2000 is going to happen on Monday. We're going to do an episode 2000 kind of special next week.
We have episode 2000 next week?
Well, episode 2000 is going to be, I'm recording it on Wednesday with a guest.
Ah, that's
We're
awesome.
going to do the 2000 thing next week. It'll be like 2001 or 2.
Nice.
2001, a podcast.
Yes.
It didn't work out like right by the time I did the live show on Sunday and stuff, the numbering. I mean, actually, this is episode 2091 if you're
got it
with the numbers. So, yeah, we've got 2090 shows out right now. So
we really should do episode 2001, a podcast odyssey.
I love it.
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be next Wednesday.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we'll do
fantastic.
that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Welcome to episode 1997 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. We hope that you are having a great day. Whether you're tuned in here in the United States, up in Canada, down in Mexico, down in South America, or happy summer down in Australia. We have lots of Australia listeners, and our Australian listeners churn out for our live call-in shows on Sunday nights. I'm going to just tell you, I think it's because it's Monday morning there and you're looking for something to do besides work. I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what it is. Shout out to all our folks down in Australia. But we are chugging along towards 2,000 episodes, and we are going to celebrate that next week. It's pretty amazing that you guys have stuck with us for that long, and we've had a good time putting all these shows together for you, and we have a good time answering your listener questions, and that's why we're here. So joining me today to answer some of those listener questions, she is back, and I've heard that she is now an honorary Muppet, just back from Disneyland, and we'll also say a little paradise out in Hawaii. We have Ricky. You can check her always out over at themouseforless.com. What's up, Ricky?
Yeah, can I just say, seeing the Muppets in real life actually singing in front of me is like one of the coolest things, and I swam with sharks on this trip, so I mean, I don't know.
Cool. Well, yeah, what's cooler, swimming with sharks or the Muppets cruising down Main Street in the bus?
I don't know. Both were pretty awesome, not gonna lie. So I mean, 2 bucket list things happened on this trip. Neither did I know that I needed in my life, by the way, but now that they have happened in my life, they are definitely bucket list. Oh my gosh. It was so cool. They were the actual Muppets, and they were singing in front of my face. Like, that is just ridiculously cool. So
why are there so many songs? Anyway, all right. Also joining us, we have the coder of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, happy Wednesday. I have a question for you, but how's it going this fine Wednesday?
It's going great. It's Wednesday. We're approaching Thanksgiving. Can you even believe it?
No.
Yeah, and it's just a good thing. And I just want to take, before your question, I wanted to take just a moment to thank, there are just so many listeners who book with our travel agency. And I was running some reports today and just looking at all that. And I just wanted to say how thankful we are for that. I don't get the opportunity to say it enough, but our listeners are just so loyal to us, and it just we appreciate having the opportunity to work with you. We get so many nice emails. I love it when people send in pictures that we get to see of people enjoying their vacation. I will say, as a travel agent, there is probably nothing we cherish more than hearing how awesome your vacation was. So anyways, just a big thank you out there. We really appreciate you all. So now to your question.
And speaking of that, I got a great picture today from one of our listeners, John, who just got back with his family, and he sent a picture of a recap of the trip, and it was awesome. Started my Monday off a great way because we record these on Mondays. Okay, so question related to what Ricky just experienced out at Disneyland. Scott and I were talking about this on the call-in show, which you can hear tomorrow on the replay. Is that Disney does so many of these cool things that are like all of a sudden unexpected, like like Muppet Mobile Labs back in the day, Lucky the Dinosaur. All of a sudden, Muppets are cruising out, singing Christmas carols on a bus, and then these things just all of a sudden disappear. Like they're so cool, they get great response, and then you never see them again. I mean, what's up with that? You think this is one of those things that's going to be like, man, you saw it and then it's gone? Like you had a 3-week, window to see. I hope stuff like this sticks around in some kind of modified fashion.
So I think that there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, I think that they love to do what they call surprise and delight their guests, right? Something unexpected, something new. And I think that this, in the day and age that we're in right now, it is very hard to surprise and delight guests as they're coming in, right? Because they have their day planned out to the T. They've read everything on the interwebs, right, about what's happening. They're keeping up with social media to see all those little, exciting things. I think another thing that Disney likes to do is to test things out, to see how things are working, how guests respond. Is it getting, the kind of play that they thought it would? Are people posting about it? Are they excited about it? All of those things. And these little limited time offerings, right, give them an opportunity to do that. They also get to test out all the technical things as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really important for them too. So I think that we often see things tested and then maybe they are reincarnated as something else. So lots of cool things for Disney to do. But no, I understand. Like some of them are so cool that you're like, why did they ever get rid of that? That has to be there forever. So I know that we're all huge fans of the cavalcades. And I hope that, that was sort of a way that they could do something, right, with all the limitations. But I hope now that things are, of course, opening up so much more that we'll still see the cavalcade. So
same. 100%. Yes.
But some of these things, though, like, okay, I got to see Lucky the Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom way back in the day. And I just happened to be, it was just, I was lucky that I was in the park that day.
Yeah.
In that part of the park where it was it was back right by, Primeval Whirl. It was back by Triceratops Spin. It was walking right back through there. And I remember it was like the absolute coolest thing. It was like just an autonomous animatronic. It was right. It was just crazy. Like it was jaw dropping. This was over 10 years ago, I would guess at this point. And then it goes away. It went over to Asia for a while. And then, it just went away. And it's one of those things that, in 2021, you're thinking, was that like a fever dream? Like, did it really happen? Or did it not?
You're like, did I have the flu when I was at Walt Disney World?
Right.
These things, they happen. They're so cool. Like Muppet Mobile Labs at Epcot, like it was like modified Segway kind of thing with Beaker.
Yes.
Bunsen Burner, whatever his name is. I don't know the Muppet names.
Bunsen
Honeydew, whatever. Beep, beep, beep. Anyway, okay. First question. That's why you're here. Beep, 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 beep. Scott's got a question. He says, "Hey, Mike, I have an upcoming trip the week of Thanksgiving." There you go. One year we were at Disney for Thanksgiving. We ate dinner as pizza in the room at the Polynesian, which I thought was awesome. He said it was snowing back home, but my wife didn't care for it. This year, we decided to book something that night and are doing a dessert party at the Magic Kingdom. Talk about an upgrade.
That is an upgrade
for pizza. Pizza in the room of the Polynesian, though. When you add at the Polynesian,
that does add something.
That does help.
Yes.
Our park reservations, though, are for the studios that day. So, okay. I see now that a lot of parks are at reservation capacity. Do I need to worry about park hopping? I have the option on our tickets. If I can't get in, would they refund my payment? Thanks for the podcast. Keep up the great work. Scott. All right. So he's got the park hopper. What if they close? Because it's only happened a couple times. What if the Magic Kingdom is closed for park hopping, but he has a hard ticket to go to the dessert party? How's that? What about that?
It's going to be, so actually, I did the dessert party as well. And it actually says during the reservation process that you must have reservations at the Magic Kingdom. That's part of the whole thing. So I don't know how Disney's going to respond to that. The good news is that they have only closed for capacity, like for any length of time, for I think one day.
It was just one day. It was October 1st.
Just one day, and even then, later on in the day, it was open again. So that's the good news. The bad news is, I don't know what Disney would do about the dessert party thing. You don't really get, it's not special access because you have a dining reservation, because think of how many people would just make a dining reservation that their second. And they actually tell you that through the dining process, whether you're doing the dessert party or whether you're booking a beer garden and your reservation was at Magic Kingdom that day or whatnot. So think about that. I would just watch and see what the crowd levels are sort of like. Leading up into that. Traditionally, Thanksgiving is not going to be as busy of a day as, let's say, between Christmas and New Year's.
Yes.
So I don't know that it will be that something that you really need to watch on. But the other thing is, if you're worried about it, I would just make my park reservations at Magic Kingdom that day. And because the parks have limited availability, I would be checking that system often to see if it was possible for me to switch my park reservation.
Or what I would do is I would hop in earlier than later. You know what I'm saying? Like, would that let me hop in around 2 or 3 and rather than trying to hop in? I guess, though, later in the day, it usually opens back up, though.
It does. When it closes, it usually closes for that, like, 2 to 5 or 4. Yeah.
So maybe not even
and there is a phone number that you can call to find out the capacity, like, if they're allowing park hopping.
And it will say on the app, too. It will, when you go to park hours, it will say park hopping available, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yes.
Good deal. All right, Alfred's got a question here. Good to have Alfred back here in the chat. It says, have you seen resort availability for the resorts the week between Christmas and New Year's, or is it completely sold out? It is almost completely sold out on site at Walt Disney World right now for that week between Christmas and New Year's. But always remember that availability does fluctuate. It's not fluctuating a whole lot this year. I was looking for a guest. Actually, shout out to my friend who I rode on the plane back from Walt Disney World with. We were riding back together from the 50th anniversary weekend. She was riding back actually to Pittsburgh. She's a member of the Plan Disney panel. And we were talking today. She wanted to surprise her family at the very last minute. The only thing we could find for her family was a treehouse, which I told her would be an incredible Christmas present. And she was thinking more like a Pop Century. So we could,
there's a difference there. Yeah.
I was awesome. I was like, I'm telling you, man, I was in it. We did a podcast from a treehouse. It was the coolest.
Right.
She's like, well,
I know.
I got you, but it wasn't exactly what I was thinking. Santa's not that nice.
And that's where we've seen the availability most of the time is at the deluxe resorts or the deluxe villas resort. We aren't seeing a lot of movement in a value or a moderate. And just because, we just had 2 of the moderates just open up recently, and one of the values that was scheduled to open is not going to be opening. So it's tight there. It just really is. So, but if you want to go, there will be something.
Seriously, you might get the Grand Nantucket Suite, which Nantucket sounds fancy to me. That's all I got to say. All right,
that's what I want on my Christmas list. Forget everything else. Just put me there.
Remember, you can give the gift of travel this holiday season, but it doesn't have to be for the day after Christmas. It could be April. I'm just saying. You got to run in your life. Surprise them with a Run Disney weekend for late March, early April. Don't freak out. I've been given it for Christmas a Run Disney weekend. It was a great gift.
Yes, awesome. We're not just talking about our Christmas list.
No, I'm just saying.
We're saying other people.
You want to do it for me? If Pam asks, my Pam. There you go. All right. So another one from Alfred, real quick. Ricky, how was Disneyland at Christmas, like compared to Disney World? He just wants a brief because you were just there.
I was.
We don't need the whole trip report because this show isn't going to be as long as others. We're trying to squeeze this one in here, but. Give that feel. Was it more homey? Was it more Silver Dollar City? It kind of looked like that. I don't know. It looked cool.
The thing about Disneyland is that they really do decorate everywhere in the parks. Every inch of both Disneyland and DCA seem to be decorated. DCA has a very Epcot feel to it because they have the food booths. Because they have the Festival of the Holidays. So as we were walking around at night, it kind of felt a little Epcot, which was kind of cool. And I'm sure it was probably their inspiration for that. there are so many, gosh, I mean, the lands like Cars Land are just so in-depthly decorated.
That
Like,
sounds like awesome.
there-
I was so jealous when you posted that picture. I was like, I'd love to be there.
I mean, Cars Land is just ridiculous as far as the detail and what they use to decorate. And, you know, there are car parts everywhere that are you know, used in unique ways. Like they'll use a tire for a wreath, and, you know, it just lots of cones for like Christmas trees, and, you know, just lots of different things to really decorate. Another area that's extremely decorated that you wouldn't necessarily think is actually New Orleans Square in Disneyland. It's different because they have like kind of like Mardi Gras feel to it with beads and giant masks and stuff like that, but it still has a Christmassy feel to it. Of course, they do have overlays with Disneyland, well, actually NDCA, so they have overlays with Haunted Mansion Holiday, which was my first time experiencing that. And also, It's a Small World Holiday. Didn't get to experience that. Makes
Great
me very...
Flood of 21.
I know, right? I was like, no!
Is that not the last 2 years like summed up in? That'd be my life. Are you kidding me?
I know, right? I was like, you couldn't have filled this up like, you know, a couple days in advance to try to test this? Like, yeah, the day before. Let's fill it up. And then, of course, they have some attraction overlays in Cars Land with Mater's, and also Luigi's Joy to the Whirl. So they have, you know, some songs and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. You know, it definitely has a very... Disneyland, like you said, kind of has a very homey Christmas feel to it, 100%. And then DCA is just ridiculous as far as like they just go all out. It feels like just decorations everywhere in a way. So
it sounds like it might be like more Christmassy, like per square inch than Walt Disney World. Like if you're looking at like the density of Christmas.
The density of Christmas.
You're looking like, you know, Christmas, you know, density. Maybe it's got it going on.
I agree with the Christmas density is much higher at the Disneyland Resort than it is at Walt Disney World. I would agree with that. Yes. And they do have a gingerbread house that they're working on too when I was there for the Grand Californian. So it's not quite as big, obviously, as the gingerbread, like, you know, actual house at the Grand Floridian. But it's more along the lines of, say, what you see at the Contemporary usually when they have their decorations up with the Cinderella. Well, I guess it's usually Frozen characters and It's a Small World behind it. So it's more on that pretty scale. Too. Yeah, I didn't get to see the whole thing. Obviously, they were still working on it, but they had a picture of what it was supposed to look like, and it looked like it was really going to be really gorgeous. So, yeah.
All right. Chip Robinson in the live chat has a question for us. Got a question for a friend. He says he will be at Hollywood Studios during the Ohio State-Michigan game, which is just called The Game. Any ideas where he might be able to watch it? I don't think there's anywhere within the park itself where there would be a TV to watch the football game that I can think of. Now, I'm trying to think outside the box here because you got the Skyliner access, so you can step outside the park, jump on the Skyliner under normal circumstances, and I cannot believe this has not been open for football season. ESPN. Yeah. I mean, of all the places like Jelly Rolls, Atlantic Dance Hall, like ESPN is not open during football season.
That's true.
It's like printing money.
I wonder if they're, you know, not me throwing anything out there, but I wonder if they're considering retheming it.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I know this is not the great, because you're going to be at the studios, but man, when we went to Splitsville, there were so many TVs and great food and drinks. Yeah. Great place to watch a game, even if you don't have to bowl. But that was a great place. City, with the Poorhouse, City Works.
Poorhouse.
Game. I saw they're serving the Thanksgiving dinner too, by the way, the other day online. So if you need Thanksgiving dinner, they're having a Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, studios.
Diane's suggesting the Tap House, but they don't have any TVs there. So the baseline.
No,
there's
they don't.
No TVs there. Yeah.
And most of the seating's outside too. Yes. There's like a little bit of seating inside.
Right. There's not much inside.
Yeah. No.
And there's definitely
no. You have to be very lucky to get the inside seat.
Right. Yes, exactly. And sometimes you have to be very lucky to get an outside seat too.
That's 100% true. 100%
basically
true.
Any seat in baseline is very lucky to get. Yes.
And do you guys play the baseline Tap House game when you're there?
Oh no.
What's that?
Okay, so it's that game. Like they always play those. They play weird versions
of the songs,
of familiar songs. You're always like, I know this song.
I have the playlist. Yeah. I have the playlist.
I totally found out that there is a way that you can set up your phone. So if you just tap it twice on the back, Shazam will pop up.
Yeah,
and we'll tell you,
I'm
I'm
shortcut.
so behind on the times apparently, but I was like, oh my gosh, I can learn how to do that. That's awesome. So yeah.
I can't say anything because I just got a pre-lit Christmas tree. So
there you go. See,
I was
exactly.
going to make a joke about welcome to 2021.
I know, right? But you just joined us in 2015, basically, Mike. So
I did. Okay, Jennifer says we're going down to Disney World in January. With Magical Express not being an option anymore, is Uber our best option to get to the resort from the airport? Well, we kind of talked about this last week, I believe, on last Wednesday's show. So the things we talked about real quick is that Uber and Lyft, especially if you're there now, I don't know if Jennifer's going out for Marathon, but Marathon is where you're going to see this really hit, is that surge pricing is going to be crazy because all the runners are going to be getting there like on Wednesday and Thursday, especially dopey runners on Wednesday because you got to get to the expo. So the prices are going to be just outrageous to get from the airport to Walt Disney World. You might want to consider, especially if you have more than one or two people in your travel party, a private town car, something like that. You look at like place like Happy Limo or Tiffany Town Car. There's a bunch of them. You can just Google. People are asking for recommendations. Those are a couple, but just go out and kind of look and see what you can find because there's different vehicle types. There's different amenities. Some offer stops at grocery stores. It's really kind of what suits you. And there's also Mears Connect, and they have multiple options too now. It's not just like a straight one size fits all kind of thing like Magical Express was. So you can check out mearsconnect.com. So lots of things you just want to kind of check it out and to see. Right now is the time to do that though. Kind of come up with a strategy so you don't get down there and be like, okay, how do I get over to the world? Because I think it's going to be a new world for a lot of us. The last decade we haven't had to think about it. So
yeah. I actually used a town car to get to Disneyland, and it was my first time doing that. The process was super easy too. So, and they stopped for us. I actually got to go to In-N-Out. So
that's what Hannah was telling me that.
I had never been, and they were like, you can choose to stop at a grocery store or In-N-Out. And I was like, that's where I want to go. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it was a little more money, but town car, really, if you've never done one, honestly, it was so great. Brian and I both raved about it. Now, granted, Disneyland, Disney World, difference there, but they're not going to stop at In-N-Out for you at Walt Disney World, but they will have a lot of times they will have a grocery stop for you. So that kind of part is kind of nice. But the great thing about a town car is the fact that they come inside the airport.
Did they say Ricky?
It wasn't fancy. It was just like a little, piece of paper that had my name on it. But still,
with that, Ricky.
I didn't even think about taking a selfie with it. Gosh, so dumb of me. But they have somebody there with a little thing that says your name on it. They have, they pick up your luggage with, he had a trolley so that, he could take my luggage, and we took it out to the car, and that was that, and dropped us off real easy. And so that part was great. And then picking us up was awesome too. So, if you are worried about a town car, honestly, it was so worth the money. Just that extra perk of having them come and literally pick us up inside while we were waiting.
Yeah, there's a value there. And at Walt Disney World too. First of all, if you have flight delays, if you have things like that, the town car is going to, they're going to talk to you about your transportation and when you're flying in and things like that. But like Ricky mentioned, so many of the ones in Walt Disney World will do a grocery stop. Yeah. And even a short grocery stop, if you pick up some water and some breakfast stuff, I think you're going to see the value in that versus taking something like Mears Connect is really going to be there and could actually end up saving you a little money. So just something to think about as we move into this new age, for sure.
It'll turn into a game show like Supermarket Sweep. Like you'll be like busting on the aisle.
You roll in and you clear.
Exactly. Always grab the turkeys. They're always
yes.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, I love Supermarket
steaks and the steak. Man.
Oh yes.
Loaded up on that.
Come on. Now. Yeah. Throw in like a couple hoses, garden hoses from like.
Oh gosh, yes.
I get the stuff
for sure.
Totally. Yes. But, Kara Brand has a good point here. You go to Rick's and watch this. They're going to the Steeler game there, and that's really Rick's is just across the street from the studios.
True.
You could be there pretty quick. There's no direct access, but you can hop a bus.
Yeah.
You can be there if you catch a bus at the right time. You could probably be there in 15 minutes. And
for sure.
Good snacks, good apps, good place to watch a game. Here's a good question from Liana Vale in the live chat. I like this. This is a good opinion question. I have an opinion. We'll see. Are the Amphicar worth the $125? They look like a fun experience. Is 30 enough? Well, okay, let's stop there. She has more than that one question. Okay, so let me ask you, would you pay $125 to ride the amphicars? Man, I've been wanting to ride these things for a long time, but I'm cheap. I watch them. I stand there at Boathouse and I watch them just on that little dock there where they spin around and they drive right into the water. And I'm just like, I'm like a little kid. Like, I just want to be in that thing, but I don't want to pay the money. One day I might do it again, like the lightsaber. Someday I'll have a lightsaber. Just not yet. I don't know, Pam. What do you think? I mean, I guess it's just what your priorities are. They look fun. I mean, I bet 30 minutes, or she doesn't ask about 30 minutes, but I mean, spinning out on the water, it's a fun experience, I'm sure. The picture.
It is. Yeah, for sure. I think that's funny. It's hard for us to tell you if they're going to be worth it to you, but
Right,
here are the things that I would consider, right? That you're absolutely making a memory. So are the people that you're traveling with really excited about? Because I love that when somebody you're with is like super excited about something, then that always plays into my figuring of how much of a value this has for me and that experience. So if you have someone that's really excited about it, I think that's a cool thing. Is it something that you're going to remember and talk about? I'd get the picture. I'm doing selfies. I'm getting everything I can out of this experience, right? And if so, then I think absolutely it's worth it to you. I mean, think about it. For all the money that you paid for your vacation, we're talking $125.
All right.
So it may, in the big picture,
I'm totally doing the captain. I'm like, okay. So
exactly, right?
I mean, yeah. The springs, as we go by, all that stuff.
Yes. And they do. And when I would do it at like around sunset.
Yes. Golden hour.
Right. Yes, absolutely. You're going to tour by, Saratoga Springs, and then you'll get to see the lights come on at Disney Springs. And it's really so pretty at night. I love Disney Springs now. I know some people like it. Some people aren't sure about it. Some people feel like it's all about the shopping and dining, which I'm like, yes, correct.
Well,
yes,
but it's entertainment too. I mean, you got bowling,
right?
Drawn to Life, Cirque du Soleil. Welcome back.
And all the live performers that they have there. I am shocked by that. The number of live performers per square foot at Disney Springs.
The density of live performers at Disney Springs.
Right. Truly. That's truly the case. It's like you aren't even out of earshot of the other ones, and you're hearing another one come up. And I'm so excited that has come back. That outside of the parks, that Disney has really made an environment that's super entertaining. So lots of good stuff going on there.
You're right. That one guy, there's a guy that stands kind of outside the World of Coke, or the Coke building there, and I swear he just sounds like he's a guy that just showed up. But I mean, he's awesome. But he just on a guitar, and like everybody's just playing like name that tune with the guy. Like, is this guy work for Disney, or did he just roll on the guitar? Like,
I'm sure he works for Disney.
But I think he's Disney's like so casual. It's so funny because like I told Pam.
Yeah.
God, he's so casual. I don't even know if he's like actually on the clock. I don't know.
I know. There's just a ton.
Leanna's got, I know you're right. Leanna's got another couple questions. Is 30 minutes enough time at Oga's for a party of 7 with 2 kids to get a fun drink and have the experience? With 2 kids, probably the shorter the better. But I mean, 30 minutes probably good. I mean, you get your pictures, you see the environment, see DJ Rex mixing it up. You're probably there's a maximum time. I think you're only allowed to be in there for like an hour.
That's what I was gonna say. Is they have a maximum time, and I think it might be 45 minutes. So
you'll get 30 minutes probably fine.
Yeah, 30 minutes is fine. Yeah.
Personal opinion: do you think there's any chance the Pirates and Pals Fireworks Voyage will be back for our trip in February? We've done it every trip since 2004. Thanks, and sorry for so many questions. Oh, that's why we're here. I mean, we can have questions.
We need the questions.
Again, here's one of those things, they're bringing stuff back, but they're not giving like any kind of, it's just like they're saying it's back. And again, as the world is trying to return, sputtering towards returning to normal, I think again, it is, labor, right? I mean, you have to train people again. Pirates and Pals, that was a cool experience, but again, I think you can't really just have anybody do that either. So you got to really, it's not an easy thing to do.
And I think that one would be tougher because you would need to be close to the characters. And because doesn't that one has Captain Hook, I think, in it, right?
Me.
Yeah. So like you have to interact with the characters, and they aren't letting even though they're doing the character sightings right now and you can have conversations with characters, they're not letting you get close to the characters right now. So I'm going to say probably not, just based off of where we are right now. So that's just a hunch. based off of that. Now, of course, things are changing. Like Mike said, things are moving and grooving, and we're just kind of going along for the ride. So who knows? We might see it come back, but at this point, I really, really can't see it coming back for a while, both because of the labor issue and because of the issue of the characters getting you can't get too close to them. Yeah. So.
And Jennifer saying she's again following up on the town car. She said, "Do you book that now? If you're gonna get a town car at the airport, you book it now. Go on their website. You just do it all on the website. Just book it now, and you're set." And then we have the iPad with your name. You'd be like, Jennifer. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they'll probably have your last name. There's probably a lot of Jennifers that could roll up and be like, Mike.
Be like, for me.
Mike. So is everybody. So is every third person walking through.
Right.
Exactly. Be our guest, Mike. I bet when you had the guy getting your luggage, you're probably like, I wonder what famous podcaster that is.
Definitely not. No.
Like Hannah Montana out here. What they say.
Definitely not. That's a big negative. Yeah.
All right, Lisa's got a question. On our next trip, we have a Disney first timer with us. We're staying at Pop, but we really want to take him to see Animal Kingdom Lodge. Good call. With no reservation there for food, etc., should we Uber to Animal Kingdom Lodge or even possibly take a bus from Disney Springs? Pam, how would you go about that to show the lodge?
I would, just based on your best chance of getting in, take a bus from Disney Springs. I've actually seen them turn around Ubers, trying to drop people off at different resorts. Now, what I'm basing this on is Disney's actual rules, not the exceptions that do happen at different times. But I just like to give people Disney's rules, and then you can decide what how you want to deal with that. But taking a bus from Disney Springs is absolutely the way to go. That is all kosher on Disney's end. So I would absolutely take that route.
I agree. All right. Last question of the day. And this one is a tough one, but let's try to tell you. It's actually, you think it's so easy, but it's really not. And it's from Tiffany down in Jasper, Texas. And she says, hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. We're giving Scott the night off here. He works hard on the weekends. Probably a quick and general easy question for y'all. In your experience, during any given week of the year, which day of the week would you say is the best to choose to avoid going to the parks for your resort or rest day? Thanks so much, Tiffany. Tiffany, this is dude. I've never thought about this. Like, which, if you had to pick, like, just any week, just given week, which if you had to pick, like, one day, is it Monday?
To take a rest day? To take a day off?
Yeah, to not be in the parks. Or is it Saturday?
That's what I was going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
Like people that are from the 407. I mean, is that it? You just don't like those people? I don't know.
I was going to say Saturday and then maybe Friday. If you're going to pick a day. Yeah, those are the 2 days I would pick. Mm-hmm. Just because you got all the locals coming out. That's why. Yeah. So.
But don't most people? Okay, yeah.
And people like, let's put it this way, and people like me who live in Georgia who are coming down for a 3-day weekend. So, or a 4-day weekend, depending. So, yeah.
That makes sense. All right, good question. So give us feedback, though, on the social media, at Be Our Guest Mike. I'll retweet those. But what day, if you had to pick, what day would you have any given week? What day would you take your rest or resort day if you want to see how the parks to maximize that? Okay, cool. All right, well, hey, that's going to do it for today's show. Great questions today. Lots of variety there. We've got to talk about Amphicars, Disney Springs, transportation, Christmas. I mean, shoot, I call this show a winner. It's good stuff.
Yes.
I know, we were all over.
That's it. All right, don't forget today's episode always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd absolutely love to help you plan your next Disney vacation. It's very simple. Just drop by themagicforless.com. Check out the website. It's got all kinds of great trip planning tools right there for you to just check out. And while you're there, once you peruse the site there for 5 to 10 minutes, just fill out the quote form. It's very simple. Put in some dates, a couple of resorts, just what you're thinking, maybe tickets, maybe, it doesn't have to be exact. That's the thing about the quote form. Just get it as close as you think, and then we can modify things as we go, but it gets us a ballpark. We can check availability for some dates, get some general pricing, then we can narrow things down and really kind of lock it in as we get closer. But we just want to help you plan that vacation to make it the best experience possible at the lowest cost out there. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link as you shop online this holiday season. It really does help us out. We'd love it if you'd use that as you shop for everybody during the holidays. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And again, thank you to our patrons for allowing us to put this show out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. Our patrons get a bonus show every Thursday called Mike in the Midwest. Jump in on that over at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, I forgot
Twitter. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Twitter. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. Follow the show at Be Our Guest Pod. And of course, Facebook and YouTube. You can subscribe over there and join us this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We take your calls. And this past Sunday night, we had a ton of calls. There was one point we had 5 calls on hold while we were talking to somebody else. It was
wow.
It was crazy. It was a good time. So if you didn't get in this past week, join us this Sunday. Fun Disney talk. Lots to talk about again on Facebook and YouTube this Sunday evening. Also, if you don't mind, one last, we just want to remind you, if you haven't done this in a while, we've been doing this for quite a while, almost 2,000 episodes. Please leave us a rating and a review on your podcast app of choice. If you download it on Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts or Stitcher, wherever you get the show, if you could take just a few minutes this week and leave us a 5-star review and some kind words, that would mean a whole lot to us, and it helps with discovery. We get more people listening to the show, but we've had a banner year so far, but let's keep that momentum rolling. We appreciate that, and we appreciate everybody who has done that over the past 13 plus years. Thank you for taking the time for those kind words. All right, we're going to be out of here, but we'll be back again tomorrow with the replay from Sunday night's live show with Scott. And then Friday, we're going to be back with one of our old things we haven't done in years. We're going to talk Walt Disney World odds makers. We're going to play some odds on things that we think might happen in the future at Walt Disney World. May or may not, but we'll have a good time trying to, see what the odds are of some things happening or not. So until we get together again on Thursday and Friday, this is Mike for Pam and Ricky. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That show sounded really good too. The audio was good on that one.
Yay! So Daisy took off. So a couple of weeks ago, I went and bought some things for our our future auction at Burlington, right? And so I had a. No. Did you just delete it?
No, but I think the program just crashed.
Oh no.
It did.
Do we have to re-record this?
I could probably get it off Facebook.
Well, that's not good.
1997. Wasn't that 1997? To continue working off. Just restart Collider Pro. It just crashed the program. Okay, so let's see.
That's not good.
Let's see if it comes back up. Please come back up. Please come back up. Please come back up. This has never happened.
Is it there?
Hang on. It's not an easy thing to do.
Oh, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, let me save this real quick.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Why? Okay, wait.
So anyway, Daisy got into the bag of my stuff, and I had those little wishables because they had a few of them at Burlington.
Oh, yeah.
And she took off with one of the wishables and ran downstairs. I'm like, no, that's not a dog toy. That's not a toy for you. I was like, somebody wants to buy that at some point. So.
Right.
Those things are so weird. Like, is that thing or no? What I'm thinking of are the Noomies or whatever.
Yes, those are weird.
Nuimos.
Yes, Nuimos.
Who's buying coats and stuff for those little things? Like, it's almost as
they're so cute.
They're cute, but I'm not buying them. Nor am I buying coats for them. So yeah. So anyway.
Dude. Yeah, everything is on Facebook. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, let's do odds makers. You got
Yay! Okay, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, did you let Ricky? No, you didn't let her keep it.
No, I didn't let her keep it. I put it back in the bag.
All right, here we go. 1999. Dedicating this one to Prince.
There you go.
There we go. Welcome to episode 1999 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. And we are going to dedicate this episode to the late, great Prince from up in Paisley Park, Minnesota. It is episode 1999. And just let me tell you, it's kind of fun because episode 2000 is going to land on a Monday. We did not plan this out. I did not do anything special. And we're going to have just kind of a special trip report on Monday, just as we've always done. So nothing really out of the ordinary for episode 2000. We're just going to plug along as we always have. But next week, we're going to kind of just look back over 2,000 episodes of the Be Our Guest podcast. But if you really know how this podcast works, if you go to beourguestpodcast.podbean.com, you'll see with all of our April Fool's shows and all of our old live call-in shows that we're actually at about episode 2094 or something. Right now, we've done more than 2,000. But anyway, it's kind of fun hitting these benchmarks.
Yes.
And today, we're going to do one of the old school shows that we probably did 10 years ago. And actually, we ripped it off from WDW today back in the day, too. So it's no big deal. We're going to have a good time. And this one's interactive, so we can carry it on. It's Sunday night onto the live call-in show, and we can also play with this on social media, too. We're going to play WDW Odds Makers because, hey, if you've been listening to the shareholder calls lately, Chapek, right? That's the guy that's talking, right? He says that
cheapskate, as I like to call him, but that's fine. Yeah.
Opinions to yourself, but yeah. Apparently, Disney's all in on betting, right? And Scott Gardner's very happy about that. I think he bets on anything that moves.
Oh my gosh!
I love Scott. He's so funny. We've bet on horses that were in Asia, like eating dinner at Olivia's one time down in Florida.
Oh my gosh!
On a phone. I was like, go. Does that horse have 3 legs? I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know. Well, let's go. Yeah.
Weirdest thing ever. So anyway, we're gonna have a good time. Ricky joining me today from down in the Peach State. What's going on, Ricky?
Okay, so I would just like to say a big thank you to, and I'm so sorry, I do not remember your names, and I tried to look you guys up on Instagram because I know you tagged me and I couldn't find it. But a big thank you to the family who stopped me at the Disney Various Nights. Here's the scary thing, Mike. They said it was a mom and dad and their 2 girls, and they said that the daughters have been listening to us since they were little, and they were definitely like teens and 20s at that point. I was like, no, that makes
old. I know it's a WS user, and they're from Washington State.
That's it. Thank you. I was trying to find them, and I was like, I can't find them anywhere. And I was looking. So yeah, that's them. Thank you. And so yeah, they stopped me and they said hello, which was very nice, and also made me feel incredibly old. So.
I know. So I've told the story, right? The first person that ever asked me in a park to get a picture. This was like way back in the day. It was over at Epcot. It was in Norway. 2 sisters, Bonnie and Kristen. And I remember, like, my wife about died when somebody asked if I was Mike, and they could get their picture.
You know,
the one, Kristen. She's now an orthopedic surgeon.
Oh my gosh!
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yes,
well, you know, speaking of our 2000 shows, the first person who asked me for a picture is actually Michelle Camber and her daughter Sam. So
who is now just studying overseas.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're so old. Anyway. Joining me today, the ageless wonder. She hasn't aged at all. Pam Forster, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. What's up? A little extra on the check this week.
Wow. Yes, right. I'm aging as we speak, as we are in the home stretch of my house finishing up. All I can say is Windows. What the heck?
Who needs Windows? You just got saran wrap. I mean,
right? I know. At this point, I'm like willing to like board it up until the windows come. So yeah, that has been our challenge. But we are so thankful to be working with a builder who drove over to state over to get our windows for us. And I mean, truly, like went and did that. So I don't even know what to say. I owe people big though. So anyways, but it's coming to a close. Yeah. So awesome. I'm glad. I'll be glad to be there.
Awesome.
But then the chaos starts though when you
Yeah, but at least it's my chaos instead of whatever else we got going on.
Moving though is my nightmare. Oh, I still remember that from a couple of years. I'm just not a mover. I'm
with you. I don't want to move anymore either.
It's stressful. We had everything we owned on one U-Haul truck. That was not pretty. It was crazy. Anyway, we're not talking about moving. We're talking about Disney. We're going to play some odds makers today. So let me kick it off and see how we're going to do this. So here's what we're going to do. One person is going to throw out odds. We're going to throw down the line, as they call it, on a possible scenario happening. And then the other 2 kind of have to give the over, the under if they think it's going to happen. Okay, so here's what we're going to say. Here's my first one. I'm going to say that there is a 75% chance that the Skyliner will run from Caribbean Beach Station to Disney Springs by 2026.
Ooh.
Okay, so that gives a little time to get the fiscals going, get kind of post-COVID, get the construct, because it takes a little bit to construct, but it didn't take that long to construct. It probably took 2 years, and it didn't take that long. And you're not really, I don't think it would take that long. So 2026, you get the Skyliner connecting to Disney Springs. Now, it could go anywhere else, but I think Disney Springs is the next goal. It has its pluses and it has its minuses, right? Because it takes you to retail. You can spend a lot of money, but then also you have a lot of people that could try to park at Disney Springs and get around, get into the.
Yeah.
Get into the
but if the hub is at, the Caribbean beach, it's a little less likely that they would do that. But I get what you're saying.
But you're getting inside the bubble there without paying to park. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always that. We all know as Disney fans.
But you can do. I mean, if you really wanted to do that, you can figure out a way to do that. Anyway.
Oh, there's a way to do it. But that'd be an easy way. Okay, so I'm laying 75% chance that happens by 2026. So Ricky, are you going to go above 75% or below 75% that'll happen by 2026?
Gosh, I want to be positive and say above, but I think it's going to be below. I think there's probably a 65% chance.
But you would, so you think that that's but you're giving it odds greater than not happening that by 2026 you have a Skyliner to Disney Springs.
I think that because again, and it gets people to shopping and dining quicker. So obviously there's a benefit to having it go there. So I think that Disney Springs above all places is probably one of the places that has a better shot at it. Let's put it that way. It would either be there or Animal Kingdom. But I think because of the ability to spend money, I think Disney Springs would be the better option. So yeah, I think there's a chance that I could go to Disney Springs by 2026. Yeah.
I think Disney Springs or Coronado are the two, like, no brainer.
Oh yeah, Coronado. That's true too. Yeah.
Disney Springs financially, I think, makes more sense. But Coronado, let's jump over to Pam though. Get 75% odds 2026 Skyliner going to Disney Springs. Give some thoughts.
So here's the thing. I was thinking, I can see it going to Disney Springs. I don't know that it'll connect through Caribbean Beach though.
Oh.
I'm wondering if it will connect maybe near that Epcot line, because that seems like it could be a more sort of direct way to get to Disney Springs there, if it sort of goes back by that. But I'm with you, Mike. I'm like 75. I'll go 76.
Wow. I like this optimism because I
$1. I'm going $1. Higher, like we're on The Price is Right.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, Disney runs all kinds of guest surveys, right? I mean, they're the number one. Like
yes.
They survey people to death, and as travel agents, I mean, we get a lot of like informal data, right? I mean, just
yes.
I see it because I get the questions from guests, and I see because many times we present different scenarios for vacations, right? Somebody's looking to go on a value vacation. So we'll price out All-Star Music. We'll price out Art of Animation in a Little Mermaid suite. Then we might throw out like Caribbean Beach in a pirate room or something. We got to keep it, within a budget, little bubble there. But the thing is, when we come back to the bookings, I'm telling you what, the Skyliner is overwhelmingly the decision maker, and it is for me too all the time. I was at Coronado twice, and the last 2 times I've been at Coronado, I switched to Pop Century at the last chance because of the Skyliner.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Actually, I think it's a good choice. I know before COVID shut the world down, I know that they were planning on expanding the Skyliner, plain and simple. But obviously that shut down those plans rather rapidly. So, I mean, hopefully they dust them off and we see some expansion with that, because I know that is something that they really do want to expand in the future. So we'll see.
I would personally go to Disney Springs a lot more with the Skyliner.
Oh gosh, yes.
Say like a Skyliner from Coronado.
If it was easy, yeah.
Because, like Pam mentioned it on Wednesday, like Disney Springs has it going on. You could just go there for a night to just, pick up some Sprinkles cupcakes or some Ghirardelli ice cream and watch the live entertainment and stroll around. And I mean, it until you use the Skyliner, it is shockingly fast as to where you get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even now, like the buses are okay to Disney Springs, but the bus stops, like say you're at World of Disney or you're back like at Once Upon a Toy, Like it's a
Oh,
hike to
it
get
is
that
so
thing.
far.
If you're at a value, I mean, okay, if you're staying at Beach Club, you don't have to go all the way around like the third loop to get to that bus. But I mean, it's way over there. If you're like, trust me, I'm always usually at Pop. And I mean, it's a hike over there. So if like I had a Skyliner just dropping me off, boom, right there. Oh my God, I'd be there all the time. I would go there probably twice as much every trip.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think you're right.
I mean, if you go to Disney Springs, you're always spending money. You're either buying food, you're buying merchandise, or you're, doing something.
Yes.
Yes.
And
It's
there's
true.
no doubt about it. I mean, okay, anyway, so that was mine. So I kicked it off. Okay, Ricky, give us one. Let's go with that.
All right, kind of throwing back to what I mentioned on Wednesday. What do you think the odds are that ESPN, the restaurant at the Boardwalk, is going to reopen as ESPN when it finally reopens? So
Well, you got to give a number. See, this
I
is
will.
like the old days. Like you still don't know how this game works a decade later.
I'm still going. Okay, all right. I'm going that I think. Gosh, I think that I think it will I think there's a 75% chance that it will reopen as ESPN, but the delay has me concerned. So I'm thinking maybe, they got rid of Ample Hills. So obviously there was reasons behind that, but I'm just saying there could be.
Hurt my heart.
I know. But I mean, it's a place that could use an update. ESPN's the restaurant's a little dated. Let's just be perfectly honest. So the restaurant could use an update. So what do you think, Mike? I say 75% that it reopens as ESPN, but
I say 95%, just because again, it's a Disney property. I mean, it's perfect. Like, I mean, the thing is, it is utterly ridiculous that it is closed right now during football season. I mean, it is right now. That place is like printing money. I mean, that's one of those places that I'm very against, like raising prices. But you could charge $20. Like I would pay $20 for a burger at ESPN, as long as because the thing is, you're not paying for the burger. You're paying for the game. To sit in a seat to watch my favorite team play for 3 hours and drink expensive beers and sodas and expensive apps. Like you're paying for the opportunity. And they did this because, like, we watched. I remember Phil Scheingold. He totally saved my skin. One time we were down there with Paige, and Paige was she still is a huge soccer fan. And World Cup was going on, and somehow Phil, with all of his connections, got us like a sweet table for World Cup right in the middle of ESPN, and so we got to watch the World Cup game. And the thing was, you had to like reserve the table. There was like a minimum buy-in, but that's totally fine because you're not. The thing, I mean, we get these questions constantly, like, where do I watch the big game? When I'm there, because people are so loyal to their teams, whether it's college or NFL or what have you, World Cup, things that come up. I just think like, and I mean, ESPN is one of the major brands of Disney. I think they should, have 2 or 3 of these places on property. It's crazy.
I mean, agreed. I'm surprised that, to be honest, that it's at the Boardwalk and not at, say, a Disney Springs, to be perfectly honest.
Right. But, have one, it wouldn't hurt to have one either. Both
have ESPN too. Wait, they could have it. They could have the one at the Boardwalk be the Ocho.
Yeah, exactly. They have 8 of them. Yeah, the Ocho's over at Art of Animation.
Exactly. All right, Pam, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
So I'm going to go just a little lower. Because here's why. First of all, ESPN is huge.
Yes.
That is a huge, huge space. And I will tell you, it was even before the pandemic, it was not highly visited.
That's kind of my thought. Yeah.
There's just, I mean, you could walk into ESPN Club anytime, any day. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's what makes me hesitate a little bit.
That was my hesitation too. Yes.
I know. Yes. Just that. And the food wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything.
It's Applebee's. I mean, it's
good. It wasn't anything good.
It's Applebee's. Yes. Yes.
So if they do reopen it as ESPN, I hope that they do take the time to absolutely zhuzh, because it needs it. It really needs it. It really needs it. And secondly, we need a new menu with something that's more creative than what we had before. So I'll go just a little bit lower and say maybe 70. I'm still thinking it might, but they need to do some stuff. And you know what? Disney has been taking the opportunity with some downtime to improve some things. So I hope that this is on the list of things that get improved because it needs it.
It does.
I agree with that, though. They have been. That is one thing that I got to give Disney credit for is these hotels and things have been.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of things in that downtime, which they could have let them sit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, Pam, give us your proposition.
Okay. All right. So what are the so here's what I'll say. In the next 2 years, I think that we are 60% likely to see an announcement of a brand new hotel.
Ooh.
So we have Galactic Star Cruiser still announced.
We do.
Almost done. March is going to be open. Okay, so that's a new hotel, but that's kind of a boutique. Like that's not
right.
Really
it's not something that everyone's going to be
saying. We had Swan Reserve open this past week.
Yes,
so that's kind of a different experience too. We're talking like you're talking
a
like
Disney hotel, like a Disney official resort hotel.
60% chance in how long? What did you say?
2 years. 2 years.
Ooh.
So just announced though, because obviously it would take.
Just announced, yeah, because it will take longer.
Yeah, it'll take longer to build. Okay,
Ricky, you go first.
It really is going to depend on COVID, to be honest. If you would have asked me this a month or two ago before they said that they weren't opening up some of the hotels, like the All Stars, I would have said probably an 85% chance. I'm going to go 80. And the reason being is because they really have that space available in between, the Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness, and they had already announced that it was coming, and then obviously they announced that it was not. So that is already that space is already earmarked for a hotel. So I say, there's an 80% chance that we're going to see something come and then get announced in the next 2 years there. So.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the over on that, over the 60%, just because, again, what are we seeing right now? We're seeing it's impossible to find a room on property Christmas week. We're finding that for Princess half marathon weekend. We're seeing challenges for marathon weekend. So obviously, right now, the demand is super high. I mean, now, again, Disney has to forecast, will that demand be there because when you build a hotel, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It's decades.
Right.
So it's one of those things, like, I guess you can't build to the surge, in demand, but you also don't want to turn away people that you want to have enough capacity to accommodate guests at all times. But I would say, that's kind of what they do. But here's the question I would have for you, Pam. Okay. So I would say I would give it above. I'd probably go 75% if I had to guess in the next couple of years, but okay, let's kind of all go this way real quick. I'm just throwing this out for a second since we've gone around once. The next Disney hotel that is announced, will it be a moderate, a value, or deluxe? Or let me throw another one out there. Will it be some new category, kind of like a hybrid? Like they just kind of chuck that 3 category model out the window. What do you think about that? But what do you think? 'Cause, I mean, this is kind of up your alley.
We could really use another moderate.
We could.
We really could. I think that it can be a moderate like Grandestino, though. Like it can be something like that. It can be a high rise. It can offer more amenities, and it can be priced a little higher than a typical moderate. And I think that that's a sweet spot for a lot of people, that they, enjoy that. I think that a lot of people eventually move up, experiencing the different categories of the Disney resorts. But I think a new moderate is not something, a brand new one is not something we've seen in quite a while. It really isn't. Mm-hmm. And I think that we could really use one. I really do. So I hope it's that.
Ricky, what do you think? I like that idea, though.
I think a moderate is needed. What do I think they're going to build? I think they're going to build another deluxe or DVC. I just think that that's what they have their focus on. And that's what they're going to keep building. The Grandestino, I think, was kind of a outlier in a way. Like they knew they had to update Coronado, but I feel like they really did it to appeal to that business traveler, since that was a business hotel in the first place. So what I would like to see is a moderate like Grand Destino. What I think they're going to do is a deluxe or DVC/DVC. I think that's where they are comfortable building at this point. I don't think that they want to build anything that's not deluxe/DVC, unfortunately.
See, here's why I love our chat. And I love that we can always have these conversations with our podcast. And we have, since we've been doing this so long, we have the audience that's so wide, and we have, it's just great to have a large audience so you can get all kinds of different views. And Mike is in our live chat right now joining us. And he says, enough high end, if you ask me, it's getting so expensive. And here's what I think Universal's doing right? Yeah. Okay, so if you want to look at what's happening in Central Florida, get direct competition with like Endless Summer and Dockside and all the, you have kind of these. How would you describe those, Pam? They're even a step kind of below like a Pop Century. They're almost like ultra values, or
they're probably nice. In terms of amenities and the things that are available at that resort, they're probably on the same category as Pop Century. The issue, I think, that is that the transportation options and where they're located. With Universal, everything is so walkable.
Yes.
Every resort is very walkable. And I think that that's just where it is. But yes, Universal has done a bunch. But the other thing that they have is that the people that are staying at their deluxe resorts are going to get access to Universal Express Pass for their whole stay. And, that's something that always gets pushed back from the Disney community, right? Anytime something is charged for, the Disney community fusses about it. But it's been that way with Universal for a very long time. They're more expensive hotels. They have access to what is basically a fast pass-like system for every attraction all the time. Just about every attraction. There's a few that don't have it. But so just consider that. Those are the things that happen. When you add more on the low end, you also have to entice people to stay at your higher end, and there may be changes in that spot. So something to consider.
Yeah, it is so difficult, right? I mean, I know that Disney is trying to appease everybody, not just the traveler. They're trying to appease the shareholders and all this, and they got to justify, they want to make as much money as they can per guest. They got to show all that, in the reports and all that. So I get it, but I also think it's hard. It would be great. It would be a great PR move, like for a family like mine, to build like another value hotel and say, look, we know like it's been a few years, man. It's been a little rough. Let's get you down to Walt Disney World. But then that goes against everything that we've been hearing coming out of the Disney company for last.
I agree with that too.
It's a great PR coup.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, and the fact is that people are staying there. I mean, they do not have a lack of people that are coming.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, and I think about I don't know. I just love Pop Century. I mean, it's just I could stay shorter at a deluxe, but I'd rather stay at Pop Century longer. That's just what I do. So that's just kind of how we throw it down. Okay, let's go with a little bit lightning time because we got about 10 minutes left in the show. So I'm gonna give this one. I'm going to put 70% odds that we get back all parades at all parks by the 4th of July, 2022.
Okay, wait. All parks that had parades before?
Had parades, like normal times. Like
so really that's only the Magic Kingdom.
Well, didn't Animal Kingdom have a parade? No, they didn't have a parade anymore?
Nope, that went away a while ago.
It did go away a while ago.
And Hollywood Studios, they took away their parade too. Yeah, so
the only one I can't remember that there were parades.
That's not just the Magic Kingdom. Yeah, so the Magic Kingdom has a parade. By
Tapestry of Dreams went away.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Tapestry of Nations. I love that parade. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so Festival of Fantasy.
Okay. What did you say the odds?
So I'm gonna give it 70% chance it's back by the 4th of July.
I'm gonna give it probably a 95% chance. And here's why. I, having just been to Disneyland, they had their very first parade, official, like full parade, this past week. And kind of the cool thing about Disneyland is they offer their Christmas parade all season. So it's not just during the Christmas party. You do get one during the Christmas party, but they offer it during the day too. So the fact that they can offer a full parade right now at Disneyland, and let me tell you, it was packed for that parade. Like, so granted, I was there the first day of the parade,
You're
but
short,
like,
so you probably didn't see anything.
I didn't even stop because I was like, I can't see squat. They were 4 deep, and I'm not joking. Like, they were legit 4 deep. I was like, I can't see. Like, there's no reason for me to stop and watch this parade because I can't see it. Short girl problems. So yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, they stopped and waited for, they waited for this parade for a long time. So I can guarantee you that parades are going to be back at the Magic Kingdom. But what I would love to see is what they did here, because they also had cavalcades that still took place. So they had a cavalcade in the middle of a couple times in the middle of the afternoon. I actually saw it. It was a brand new cavalcade, kind of a winter time cavalcade for at Disneyland. And then in the evening, because they do their parade at night, since it's the Christmas parade, they do it like 5:30. So then they did the full parade then. So I would like to see that kind of combination where they still do the cavalcades for the people like me who don't like parades and enjoy like the short little parade thing, and then still do a regular parade and later for the 3:00 parade. So that's what I would like to see them do. And not just the parade that, like, that move it, shake it, celebrate it at one time, that thing. I would like to see multiple different kinds of little cavalcades, not just
the
the
theme parade. Yeah, like we've always had like a theme parade at the Magic Kingdom, like for the celebration for.
But not just I don't want just that one. I want the multiple like they were doing before. That's what I want. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Pam. Do you think we'll have it back by the 4th of July?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards. What did you say, Mike? What was your prediction?
70%. I'd give it like 7 out of 10.
All right, so I'm gonna be more like 75 on this one, because I do think that we're going to see that. I think that they, that people are looking for that people like that interaction. There's a group of folks that do like it. That I guess they like sitting there on the curb. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't either. Yeah, I don't get it. I was like, you guys are sitting here on Main Street in Disneyland for hours.
I know.
Parade. Okay. Cool.
I know. But I do understand that. I mean, I remember when Hannah was young, we absolutely waited for parades because they were one of her favorite things. It was just a great time to interact with the characters and to little kids in particular, that's so cool to see all those people they've only seen in movies or on television or things like that. So that's where I'm sitting on that. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So Ricky, do you want to take Diane's? I don't know if you have one.
I actually do have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I think that there is a 50% chance that for the D23 Expo, when they announce, which happens next year, right? Next year.
I don't know.
I think
I'm never up on the D23 stuff.
Well, hang on. Okay, so I think by the next D23 Expo, they will have a 50% chance that they will have some sort of replacement for the NBA experience.
God, I hope so.
I think there's a 50% chance. I don't know if they're gonna, because it seems like it's such a huge building and they did all this work for nothing, basically, because it closed so quickly. So I hope that there's a 50% chance that we have some sort of announcement for the replacement of the NBA experience. What do you think, Mike?
That's Disney's spruce goose right there. That's the thing that flew one time. And
I know, right? Like,
and I know Jennifer listens here, and Jocelyn, her daughter, love the NBA experience. She listens right down the road in O'Fallon, Missouri.
I would have liked to have experienced it. I didn't even have a shot.
We hardly knew ye.
Yeah,
just a little place next to the poorhouse.
I know.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily. I give it less than 50%. I'm going to go like 30%, and here's why. I think it's more if it was just like that they could just put something in there and design it. I think that's easy. But I think the thing is you got to find the right partnership in these days. Right? You got to find somebody that's willing to take on big building to partner to pay that rent.
Because that Disney is not going to do something on their own for that building. They are definitely partnering with.
Because it's huge. It's probably a partnership.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I mean, they have to partner with somebody on this one. So, yeah.
I'd go lower. I don't know, Pam, what do you think?
Arguments on both sides, very interesting. I may go just a little lower too, for the reasons that you all have mentioned. I think that there are many businesses who are doing well, but struggling to recover what they'd lost.
Yeah.
And so even if they're having, a good year or a good, season, I think that businesses also learned things from that and are being a little more cautious with that. And I think that it's hard to make a space that big a slam dunk kind of thing.
Yeah. Hey, look at that go.
Yes.
I was trying to deadpan it and deliver that. No, but it's such a huge space. And just to have it from the gun, just be like, this is a place that we want to go. We're willing to pay, to get in it. This is someplace that we want to visit. I think what they're going to need to do, and I think it's something that they tried to do with the NBA experience, but it just, it didn't really have a chance. Let's be honest.
No.
Is that they're going to need to pull in the locals.
Yes.
To want to experience this. And it's going to need to be something that has repeatability. So that's why I'm going just a little lower, because I think we're just going to see the caution there from these companies and Disney for sure.
And the problem is it is such a huge building.
It is. It's massive.
So big, and that's part of its downfall, in a weird way. It's just the size of that building is way too massive for, anything real. A lot of things, really.
Well, Virgin Megastore was huge back in the day. That thing just sold CDs and records. Okay, here's the thing. Mike's with he's 50% of the way with me in the live chat. The thing needs to be an Apple store. I've been saying this for a decade.
But that's too big for an Apple store.
Apple stores are huge. I went to one that was in Chicago. It was enormous. And then you split it in half and make the other half an all-day breakfast place. And
I do like the all-day breakfast place idea, yes. That is my idea, so I'm going to go with that. But,
It's an Apple store / diner. But you got to keep the syrup away from the
you got to keep the syrup away from the electronics. Yeah. No, it's just, that's what shoots that place in the foot, though, it is such a big building. And
it is. It's so big. It's cavernous.
And when Disney rebuilt it, and I saw how it was almost the same size as what they had before. And
it was. I actually did get to experience it. So it was large. It continued to be large.
It's just, and I don't know. It's something massive is going to have to go in there, and it's going to have to be some sort of huge partnership for 100%. Yeah. So. All
right. Pam's got the last one. Pam, what do you got?
I'll do it. I'll do Diane's question. Was it Diane that had it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So a prediction that the meal plan will return by September of 2022. I'm going to say 85%.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised you're that low. You know what I'm saying? I know that's high still, but I'm surprised you're that low on it. Huh? That's interesting.
Hey, well, go ahead, Ricky. What would you say? Obviously, you're going above that. What would you give it? Put a number. So you're above 85.
I think I am. I think I'm going to go with probably 92%. I know, odd number there. But it's an even number, but I think that it's going to depend on obviously the workforce and what they can do. But the restaurants are so packed, and the dining plan was a way to fill the restaurants. So it's going to depend on how the restaurants keep doing as we move forward. Because people are still dining like crazy. It's still really hard to get dining reservations. So I think that as long as we keep seeing dining reservations being as difficult as they are, you're not going to see the dining plan. So once the dining reservations start to open up a little more and you have more availability, then you might see it come back. That's why I'm going to say 92%. I think that once they start getting the workforce in and they start opening up, a few more restaurants, because there are still restaurants that are closed. I know Pam's beloved Flying Fish is still closed. Yeah. So there are, and of course, as we mentioned, ESPN. So there are definitely still restaurants that are not open. So I think once they start opening those back up, I think we might see the dining plan. But until that point, I don't know. Just the restaurant availability is gonna move this one way or another. So
see, I'm going to go right between you guys. I'm going to go 90% that it'll be back. A little higher than Pam, a little lower than Ricky. And the reason being is, again, this past Sunday night or Saturday night, we had a big night out. My wife and I, we went to Applebee's, fancy like, right?
Yeah.
And then we got 2 fajita roll-ups at the bar because the wait. Oh, here's the whole story. You want to know the story? The wait was an hour to get a table at Applebee's. Okay, right across the street from us. Okay, here's the deal. But there were seats at the bar. There was only 2 of us, so we sat at the bar, and the LSU Arkansas game was on, so I was in heaven. I got to watch football while I ate. But the thing was, we got in there. The restaurant's empty. Like 50% of the tables are empty. They didn't have enough servers.
Yeah.
Like, we could have sat everybody, no problem. Like there were so many empty tables, they didn't have enough workers. And I think that's the only thing that's hampering the dining plan right now is the availability of people to serve and cook and all that, you know, the labor staff. So if they could get all the restaurants open back up, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I agree with exactly what Ricky's saying, because I think Disney wants that dining plan to come back ASAP, because I think guests love the dining plan. It is high satisfaction. And Disney also knows when people buy the dining plan, kind of, they know where they're going to eat, like what their dining schedule is going to be, you know, like they've locked in, they've committed, you know, what Disney wants.
And they get to pay it in advance.
Exactly.
Right.
They get the money that you're, you know, 30 days in advance, you're full paid, it's all done. And plus, I mean, let's be honest, some people probably leave credits on the table. Our listeners
absolutely
probably do. And that's a win for Disney. You know, we don't do that. We make sure if you're listening to this, we guarantee you get all your money.
Yes. Oh, and then some. Yeah.
You know, the average Joe might leave 3 snack credits. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, $20 for Disney. They win. Yep. So, you know, it's one of those things. Pam, so give final thoughts on this though, but I just think that Disney wants us back as aggressively as they can. But I mean, there just have to be certain criteria that have to be met first.
I agree. I think it definitely has to do a lot with the workforce at this point, because they don't want to people buying a plan and not having the space available. Unlike the folks who work with our agency, we remind you to make sure you're making dining arrangements. And even if you can't do that, but so many that don't work with, you know, us, or don't, you know, work with a travel agent at all, you're not getting reminders from Disney to make your dining reservations, right? And things like that. They're not, you know, doing it in that same way. And I think that at this point, it would be challenging because people would buy the dining plan, and then maybe if they weren't making those reservations in advance, there wouldn't be anything available. Yes. So that's a guest satisfaction nightmare. And they don't want to see that for sure. You know, so I think that that's what's delaying it. And regardless of how you feel about the leadership of the company or whatnot, I can tell you from the conversations that I have with those teams, you know, has a lot to do with thinking about the guest first. That weighs in every decision that I've had the experience to chat with them about. And I think that that's still what they're doing. So I think that that's where we are now. I think that's what they're waiting for. I really do.
Agreed. Lots of factors, but they do want it back. I mean, I just have a feeling they're
for sure.
All right. Hey, we're going to continue this game Sunday night. Join us on Facebook and YouTube, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. You, me, and Scotty G will be taking your calls, talking about anything Disney, but this is one of the topics we can talk about. So join us for that. We love those live call-in shows. But don't forget, as always, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. And one of the things Pam brought up is when you book a trip with the Magic for Less, when you book a Walt Disney World trip, a Disneyland trip, a Universal trip, what happens is we have a system. System's very cool. Once you book your trip, we get everything into this system, and then you get these emails. It's the trigger points, you know, certain amount of days before your trip. And it says, hey, you know, Walt Disney World's got this cool place called Batuu. It's Galaxy's Edge. When you're in there, you can build a lightsaber, you can build droids, and it gives you all the information, pictures. It tells you, you know, how to reserve that if you're interested in that. You know, again, like it tells you, it's almost time to make your ADRs. You better start thinking about your restaurants. Where do you want to eat? Or, you know, hey, think about those theme park reservations right away. You get these emails, and even if you're a veteran traveler like you probably are listening to our show, you probably know this information, but it's great to get reminders. And if anything, it gets you excited for your trip. I'll be honest. I book my own trips, and I have to put them in the system just so I can keep track of all the accounting for when I go down for like all my races. I get the reminder emails from myself, and I get excited. Like, I'm like, Okay, that email's from me, but it's cool. Like, I know it's like, I know I'm getting it, but it's awesome. So it's just one of those things that it's kind of a second set of eyes. And of course, we're there to get you the discounts when they come out. If you have a modification, trust me, these days, you'd rather me listen to the hold music than you. Trust me on that one. I have a very good relationship with the hold music lady at this point. So I'm just saying there's a lot of good reasons to support a travel agency, and we'd love to help you out and get that best deal possible. And we always want you to have the best trip every single time. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. When you do that holiday shopping, that one extra click is really going to support us. So again, click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And finally, thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Thanks for supporting everything we do. We couldn't do it without you. 2,000 shows. That is a testament to our listeners, to you guys taking the time to support the show, to listen to the show, to spread the word. At Patreon, you guys are really helping us out, especially since the pandemic hit. So thank you so much for that. If you'd like to support us over there, just visit patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can follow me on the social media, Instagram and Twitter at beourguestmike. Pam's at TMFLTPam. You can catch Ricky at Ricky Nibs. And of course, subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube. And if you wouldn't mind, like I said on Wednesday, wherever you download the show, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, if you wouldn't mind this weekend, just a few minutes, leave a 5-star rating and a review. That would really help us out. And that would be a great way to kind of, support us and celebrate 2,000 episodes. Not a lot of podcasts make it to 2,000. We're kind of excited for that. And it's because of you. It's because of all of us. It's not something we did. It's something we all did together, which I love that we got to hang together this long. All right, speaking of that, this is going a little bit too long. So we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your weekend. Until we talk again on Sunday night, you all stay safe, stay healthy. For Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike. We'll see you real soon. All righty. That was a good one.
Cool.
That was fun. We haven't done that in forever.
Huh?
99. That's crazy.
Wow.
1,999.
It is crazy.
That is crazy.
That was a lot of fun. We hadn't done that in like forever. I like that.
No, that was fun.
We gotta go back and do some of those again.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, cool, ball.
All right, folks.
See you guys later.
All
right, see ya.
guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.